Samuel Hopkins Adams was an American writer and investigative journalist. Born in 1871 in Dunkirk, New York, the son of Minister Myron Adams Jr. and his wife Hester Rose Hopkins. Educated at Hamilton College in Clinton and at Union College, he began his newspaper career early, starting work at the New York Sun the same year he graduated from Hamilton. In 1898, he married his first wife, Elizabeth Ruffner Noyes. In 1900, he went over to McClure's magazine, an illustrated monthly, where he quickly gained his reputation as a muckraker, meaning someone bent on uncovering scandals and corruption. His first major story was a series of articles in 1905 entitled The Great American Fraud on Patent Medicine, being over-the-counter medicines often sold as cure-alls despite little or no actual positive effects. Adams's series of articles led to the passing of the Pure Food and Drug Act of 1906. In 1907, he divorced his first wife. In 1908, he published his first novel. During the First World War, he served on the Committee on Public Information, marrying actress Jane Peyton in either 1914 or 1915. In the 1920s, he would adopt the pseudonym of Varner Fabian, using it to publish rather risque novels such as Sailors' Wives, Summer Bachelors, or Unforbidden Fruit. In 1926, he received an honorary doctorate of humane letters as a result of his investigative work. He would continue to write many more books and as many as 400 short stories. Adams died in 1958 at Beaufort, South Carolina. The Flying Death was Adams's first novel. It concerns a young doctor, Richard Colton, who travels to the seaside at Montauk Point to try and find a cure for his insomnia. As he fruitlessly tries to get to sleep, a ship is wrecked on the nearby beach, and he is volunteered to come and help. Among the people he meets during the rescue operation is one Dolly Ravenden, the pretty daughter of a visiting professor, Helga, an orphan washed up on the beach many years ago and adopted by a local innkeeper, and Haynes, the man watching over Helga's life and education. At the same time as helping out at the wreck, Colton proceeds to save the latter two from drowning, while earning the admiration of the aforementioned Miss Ravenden. Among the survivors of the shipwreck is also a crazed Spanish performer nicknamed the Wonderful Wally, who claims he jumped into the sea voluntarily to avoid something coming from the sky to pursue him. While dealing with the wreckage, they find one of the sailors dead. However, he was not dead when he was put into the rescue buoy, but seems to have died on the way to the beach. Soon, there are many more cases of people and animals killed in the same way as Peterson, namely by having their throats and backs cleaved in a most gory way by something. What concerns Professor Ravenden, however, is that many of the corpses have no track leading up to them, aside from ones identical to those left behind by a Pteranodon 10+ million years ago. This while Colton tries to romance the professor's daughter, and his newly arrived brother tries to romance Helga, whom he knows from university, and who both had a thing going before they were driven apart, thanks to anonymous letters sent to Colton's family. However, if you think there is much done with a Pteranodon, then you are mistaken. Red herrings get introduced left and right to distract us from the Pteranodon, with the amateur investigation of the murders taken over by Haynes, a famous newspaperman and totally not Adams's self-insert. Among these red herrings, we have a random researcher flying kites during a storm, and the crazed Spaniard Wally actually killing some people, but not all of them, and doing so while mimicking the Pteranodon footprints already on the beach to put people off of his scent. The Pteranodon gets talked about occasionally, but it takes until page 233 for anyone beside Wally to actually see it. Haynes himself dies before this happens, being one of Wally's victims, along with a surly Coast Guard. The Professor is also not much help in the matter, as his getting distracted by butterflies nearly gets the main character killed at one point. The ending is kind of predictable, with the Pteranodon showing up, being shot and falling into the ocean, never to be recovered again. All the while, the pseudo-gumshoe murder investigation takes up a bit too much time and distracts from the flying pterosaur, while entirely too much dialogue is spent trying to explain away any lack of motive on Wally's part for all of the killings he didn't do with the excuse of murder mania, which is really not an actual excuse at all. The actual fantastical element of the book is rather underutilized in favour of a standard mystery plot and conventional romance except in stereo.